What does
Yeah.
surrender look like for you?
So you see, it's even in personal development, right?
Hmm.
It's great to, okay, let me listen to a podcast. Let me listen to this. Let me listen to that. Let me listen to Osho. Let me listen to, Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
It's great. Don't get me wrong, to be growing.
Yeah.
But part of the challenge is when you're constantly listening to Oprah, listening to that person, listening to this person, you don't end up listening to yourself. You
Exactly.
don't end up listening to your own soul. There is a part of you, when I say you, I mean all of us. There is a part of you that knows everything
Hmm.
because at that deepest level, you are connected to everything. But we're so distracted out here listening to everybody on the gram, listening to YouTube, listening to all these experts that we don't listen to our own inner intelligence. And just because it worked for that person, just because it worked for me, and just because it worked for so and so, doesn't mean it's your path, doesn't mean it's your destiny, doesn't mean it's your soul's journey. You can learn, but often, so part of surrender is allowing yourself to be still enough and quiet enough to listen to the deeper impulse of your soul, allowing yourself to have the spaces in your life so that you can catch the vision and the whisperings of what your soul is guiding you to. But because we're so distracted, we often don't hear our soul. And then we're like, well, what do I do? Because we're not listening to our soul. And part of surrender is allowing life to lead you, allowing life to guide you. Life has an intelligence. It has been around for billions of, you and I, we've been around for like 20, 30, 40, 50. Maybe someone listening to this podcast is 100 years old.
Hmm.
Amazing. You made it to 100. The truth is, life has been around for millions of years, billions of years. We're going to listen to life. We're going to listen to our ego. We're going to listen to our mind. We're going to listen to some expert that has been doing their job for like 20, 30 years. We, in our culture today, we listen to Siri, more than we listen to our soul. We listen to AI, robot, more than we listen to our soul. Siri says turn left, we don't even question. Siri says turn right, we don't even question. Siri can be taking us off a freaking bridge, we don't even question. But the moment your soul says, write that book, call that person, well, me? I don't know. I'm not sure. What? Why do I need to call James? Call James. Call James. I'm not sure. We start questioning ourselves. And so I think for me, part of how I learned to surrender, and there's a few things I would say, part of how I learned to surrender was I had to stop questioning the subtle impulses and intuitive guidances that arose. We feel the thing. And the way your soul or the universe speaks to you will often be very subtle. It
Yeah.
may not be on a loud billboard or siren bell. It might just be the subtle sensation or feeling in your body. Something feels off here. Go to Miami. Text James. Oh, it's just so subtle, like a wind, a whispering in the wind, but we don't listen to it because the mind. Here's what happens: the mind kicks in. Well, that doesn't make sense. We tell ourselves, "That's call James. Why call James? I haven't spoken to James in 5 months." We start questioning because the ego mind is constantly seeking to try to understand everything. It has a need to try to understand everything because the ego's job is to protect you from getting hurt like you were hurt when you were 5, you were hurt when you were young, and the ego's job is to reinforce its existence. So the ego mistakenly thinks if I can understand this intuitive thing that doesn't make sense, then maybe I can control it, and being controlled, then I can maybe make sure that bad things don't happen. It's well intended because the true intuitive guidance, right, arises from a deeper dimension than your mind. It arises from a deeper dimension than your logic. That's why it's arising from your soul. If your intuitive guidance makes total sense to your mind, probably it's not your intuitive guidance, it's your mind. And because your intuitive guidance is arising from a deeper dimension of your being, it is outside your logical mind's capacity to completely understand in that moment. That's why it is unconditioned. It is not limited to your past conditioning. When you're simply living life and planning from the level of your logical mind, it comes from everything that you've read, everything that you listen to in a podcast, or everything that you've experienced. But when your guidance is arising from something deeper inside of you, it often won't fit your current ego's capacity or your current identity's capacity to navigate, understand, because you haven't gone there. It's something you haven't experienced. And so it's kind of like going outside of your comfort zone, outside of the known. And that's where the magic is. That's where the grace is. That's where the miracles happen. That's true surrender is to move outside of the known, outside of the comfort zone, and trust, and to truly trust. And so you don't have to know. So what we have to do is give up the need to understand and know what everything means. We have this constant need to understand, well, where am I going, and what's my purpose, and what does this mean, and what's happening here. You don't need to know. But if you truly feel, oh, I feel something, and you follow. So I had to learn to follow. When I turn left, I'm going to turn left. What? And James, you might ask me, well, why turn left, Coop? I don't know. You don't need to know where you're going to get to exactly where you need to be, because there's an intelligence that knows. So for me, I just began to just follow this sense. Turn left. I don't know. Go here. Go. I don't know. Move to Miami. I don't know. Okay. Go to Phoenix. Okay. Go to Brazil. Okay. Go call the so and so. Send so. Okay. Go to that event. Oh, why? I don't know. But often, there's a why will be revealed when looking back, and then you connect all the dots together. 2 years later, a year later, 5 years later, that's when we often end up understanding, oh, that's why I had to go to that event, to meet that person. It wasn't for that piece of information. That's why I had to go to Miami. It was to meet that person. It was for this thing to happen. But we're often not able to understand it before it happens. And so give up the need to know and understand, and allow part of surrender is allowing life to lead you. It's a switch in order versus you pushing, allowing life to show you. So now we become followers of life and the intuitive, intelligent river and flow that is. Life has a flow. If you really become still, you will see that life has a flow. It's kind of like something's flowing over here. Kind of, something's moving over here. Okay. And so part of surrender is allowing life to guide you. That's where the magic happens. I mean, people think about surrender's being passive. No. If you look at people like Bruce Lee was a badass. Bruce Lee was incredible. He himself said, everybody wants to be like Bruce Lee, but they don't want to do what Bruce Lee did. Bruce Lee said, you've got to be like water. You've got to flow. You put water into a teacup, it becomes a teacup. You put water into a pot, it becomes the pot. Be like water. Bruce Lee is famous for saying, be like water. But what he's really saying is you've got to surrender. I mean, it's be like water. You've got to flow. And I think that's where the magic is. If we really look, if everyone checks their experience, the best things in your life that have happened, you probably didn't plan. No one here went and said, okay, I'm going to meet my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my spouse, the love of my life. I'm going to go to the coffee shop today, going to go to Starbucks, 7 p.m. My goal on November the 11th, 11 a.m., I'm going to meet my soulmate. That's not how it happens. You can have the intention, but here's what I say. Don't have the intention, but don't get attached to the intention. And most of us, we don't realize that we are limiting the universe. We're so attached to the life that we think we should be having. We're so attached to the goals that we think. We're so attached to the person that we think we should be with as our soulmate. We're so attached to the career we think. But when we're creating life from the level of the ego is limited. The ego is so limited, it's not able to see the infinite possibilities, the infinite tapestry, the infinite unfolding of life. It's only able to see a very small piece of life. So then when we set our goals from the ego, our goals end up being very small. We're not able to see how they're all connected. And many times with our goal setting, we're putting limitations on life. And it's almost as though we're holding on to peanuts. Like, universe, I want this peanut. This peanut is so amazing. I got to have this peanut. I'm visualizing for this peanut. I'm doing my affirmations for this peanut. I got to have this peanut. But we don't realize the universe is trying to give you a freaking buffet. But all we can see is this peanut. And so I'm not saying don't set a goal. What I'm saying is catch a vision to the best of your capacity, set the goal, but don't get attached to that goal. That where you hold on so tightly to that goal that you're not open to life showing you something else. You hold on so tightly to that person that you think is the one, when clearly they're not, but they're the only person you can see. And life is trying to bring you a love that is so great, but you're so conditioned to think this is the person for you, you know? And so there's a few reasons why things don't happen. Number one, the goal that you think you want to manifest is not really in alignment with your soul's highest intention. It's just what you think you should be having based on your conditioned mind, your past experiences, your childhood projections, etc., etc. And so many of us, we try to make these. I want to be, I want to win an Oscar. I want to, be a singer. I want to be whatever it is. And not that that's not great, but we get so identified with being that thing that we think is the thing. But sometimes the goal that you think is the goal is not the goal. It's just the evolutionary carrot to take you on a journey. And the real goal isn't the goal. The real goal is the journey that you go on and the lessons that you learn and the person that you become, because every step of the pursuit of that goal will force you to grow, evolve, and learn lessons so that you can develop the necessary mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological muscle to become the person that's capable of the real vision that you're here to fulfill. I'm sure Mandela didn't think that he was going to spend 27 years in prison. Gandhi was a lawyer, a very successful lawyer that I'm sure he wasn't planning to give up his law career to become Gandhi. But what if Gandhi said, no, I want to be a lawyer, make a bit of money, and I'm not gonna follow this calling. He would have been a lawyer. We would never heard of Gandhi, and he would not have become the Mahatma. The Mahatma was a great soul. He would have been, Mohandas K. Gandhi, a lawyer that none of us would even remember. So he had to surrender who he thought he was and the life that he thought he was attached to living so that the life that he was truly put on this planet to live could flow through him. And so sometimes, number one, the goal that we think is the goal is not the goal. And what we tend to do is because we're so attached to the goal, we force it, like, no, it's got to be this. If your goals aren't manifesting, step back, breathe, be still, let go, and meditate, pray, reevaluate, connect, listen. What is life seeking to express through me? What is my truth? Is this goal just because my parents wanted me to do this thing? Is this because I'm looking at everyone on Instagram and social media doing this thing, so I kind of think I need to do it now? Or is it authentic? Is it from my soul? Is it true? Is this who I authentically am? Then you can catch the vision for the authentic expression of your soul. Number two, sometimes the goals that you want, it's just not time yet. But when we're locked in our ego, we just want what we want when we want it, and we want it now. But everything has a season, everything has a rhythm, everything there's sun, there's summer, there's fall, there's winter, there's spring, and you might want what you want now, but sometimes the mango's not ripe yet. You can go to a mango tree like, hell, I want the mango now, and you can't pluck that mango. It's green, it's hard, and it tastes like crap. And many of us were eating unripe goals, right? Just trying to force things to be. And so for me, it's about flow. Surrender is about flow. So if things aren't working, sometimes it's just not the season yet. Sometimes life isn't right. Sometimes the consciousness isn't right. Maybe your soulmate isn't ready yet. And so we have to exercise patience and trust the flow of nature, trust the natural law, trust the seasons of life, trust divine timing. The third reason is sometimes we have not learned the lesson where we are with who we're with. See, we are souls. To me, true surrender comes when you recognize that you are a soul. You are a soul that's incarnated into this human experience, and the human experience is like a classroom or university for your soul's evolution. Everything and everyone is part of your teacher, and you're always in classroom. And the purpose of life is your evolution. Everyone is your teacher. Everyone is your professor. You're always in classroom. And so when we go through certain experiences, we have to realize that all lessons are repeated until learned. And so when we don't learn our lessons in this classroom that is life, we have to recreate and go through those experiences over and 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 over again. And so many times we don't manifest that next level because we have not learned the lesson that we need to learn where we are with who we're with. And as a result, we keep looping. As a result, we're not able to manifest that next level of abundance. As a result, we're not able to manifest that soulmate we love because we haven't learned to love ourselves. We haven't learned to honor ourselves. We haven't learned to forgive. We have not learned something yet. And so rather than forcing, surrender, step back. Okay, things aren't manifesting. I think I'm trying everything. Things aren't manifesting. What is the lesson that I need to learn in this situation? Why did my soul attract this experience? What is the lesson I need to learn that I'm not learning in this phase of my life that clearly is keeping me stuck? When we learn the lesson where we are, that's the key that energetically unlocks the lock to the next level of life and manifestation.